I took the reading tonight from my book, Meditations with Native American Indians, and it fits into our topic tonight. Dissimilar things were fitted together to make something beautiful and whole. Sometimes we look at something close up and it appears to be ugly. But then we drop back and look at the whole and find out it's beautiful. For example, if we look at the whole insect nation, you'll see a great order. Each insect, though it may look ugly, is participating, is fitting together and making something beautiful and whole. How do we look at ourselves? Are we focused on something ugly about ourselves? Or are we dropping back and looking at ourselves as a whole? Each one of us has purpose, and we are all beautiful. Great Spirit, today let me see the beauty of the entire whole. I really wanted to share that tonight because I was reading that this morning, and I will post it tomorrow morning. I was reading that because it brings out what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about a mosaic tonight, put together that mosaic. So I'll be concentrating tonight on the first three questions of the positive inventory. Who am I? Why am I here on this earth? What's my purpose? And do I truly love myself? I grouped those three together because I truly believe that the ultimate part of our journey in this earth is to go within to our spirit to find out who we really are. Yeah, it's easy to look at the outside. It's easy to look at things that we do, maybe even jobs that we have and things in that direction. It's easy to say I'm a parent, I'm a husband, I'm a wife. We all have titles. But the real title, the real gift is, who am I as a person? Who is my personhood? Do that, it's almost important. I learned this a long time ago, and I'm very thankful today to a very special therapist who helped me through this process and taught me this. He said, if you truly want to find out who you are, he said this to me a long time ago. He said, go back and study your history. Your history is your most powerful teacher. So one of the things I did in my positive inventory, and I want you to try to do it with yours around these three questions, is do kind of a outline of your and study of your life. It's almost like different situations, things come into our life. There are teachable moments. We don't even know sometimes why they're happening. Sometimes they happen in spite of us. And yet it's so important because I know I spent a lot of time in my life being angry at my history, being angry at things that happened to me in life. But I realize today, everything that happened is all part of my journey. Beginning with my family, one of the most powerful things I ever did was not only to work on my own history, but to go back and look at my parents' history. It gave me a greater appreciation for them and also understanding more why things happened the way they happened. My father came from Italy. He was in the First World War in the Italian cavalry, and he survived that war, horrible war. Got on a boat. He had my mother's name tagged on him in Camden, New Jersey. He didn't even speak English. Got off the boat in Baltimore. Came down the gangplank. They grabbed him and gave him a job on the railroad because he had my mother's name, Camden, on him. So they put him land track from Baltimore to Philadelphia. Only took him 7 months to make it up to Philly, living on a train. When he finally got there, he went over and met my mother. They gave him a permanent job on the railroad. Went over and met my mother. And according to my Italian family, whether this is true or not, who the hell knows? But apparently, he met her on Tuesday, married her on Friday, went back to work on Monday. Took care of that relationship. That's done, finished. But the bottom line was they got together. My mother, on the other hand, my father became a very gentle, very beautiful man, went through a lot of struggles, but was able to give back, was able to share with others, even though he went through his struggles. On the other hand, my mother was born in 1904. Her mother died when she was 2 years old in an accident. Her father placed her into St. Vincent's Orphanage in Philadelphia. both her and her sister. They spent 5 years in the orphanage until her father could find a new wife. Because let's face it, women did not raise children. I mean, men did not raise children back then. And so after he found a new wife, went back and picked them up. Now think about it for a minute. She got abandoned by her mother at 2, got put into an orphanage by her father, another abandonment. And then when it was convenient, he stepped back and picked her up and entered into a whole new family of stepsisters and stepbrothers, a whole new concept. Is it obvious when I was born that I would never get abandoned? When I was born, my mother held on to me like she never let go. She planned my whole life. Everything was around me. She protected me like crazy. She even put me in the seminary. I always joke and say, she put me in protective custody. And today, at first I was angry about that. I look back on it today, it probably was a great experience. For the first time in my life, I had to be responsible. I had to make decisions. In the seminary, I learned a lot of beautiful things. I learned how to get involved in stage with speech and drama. I got involved in stage crew. I got involved in performing in plays. I got involved in facing a lot of my fears, getting into stuff. I got involved in youth programs, learning how to become a referee, how to organize basketball leagues, all kinds of stuff I got involved in. I never would have got involved in that stuff if I stayed at home. So my history taught me something very powerful. I began to experience some of my talents and some of my gifts. But I had to go through the fire, I had to go through the struggle, come to the other side, go back and appreciate my heritage and appreciate my life. In the seminary too, I learned a lot of great things. My mother put me in there. I learned, how to make money. When I was always a little bit of a con artist. So when I was in the seminary, those black dresses that the seminarians wore, or cassocks. Well, I used to sell them and sell the collars and the suits and everything. I was the agent for Renzetti's in Philadelphia. I got a commission for every one I sold. So I was hustling right from the beginning. I learned how to make it, how to do things. It's just amazing when you look at it today, you go back and look at your history, you learn how to laugh, how to open up, how to look at life differently. A lot of good comes from, a lot of times, some things you think are negative, they then become positives. I learned how to, do a lot of crazy things in the seminary. We even learned how to sneak out at night and go to the Greasy Spoon in town, hang out with the other high school kids and make believe that we weren't seminarians, even though they knew it. It's like the policeman with the polished shoes. What can I tell you? The bottom line was I laugh and I look at that stuff today. Going into the priesthood, I was sent to a parish where the pastor was alcoholic. As a result of that, I got involved in Al-Anon. I had no idea at all about 12-step programs until I was introduced to him. And as a result of his alcoholism, I had to run a parish from the get-go by the seat of my pants. Did a pretty good job, too. Taught me for later on to run Starting Point by the seat of my pants. I ran everything by the seat of my pants. What can I tell you? The bottom line was I was able to work through all my fears. As I went through my history with my therapist, began to look at all this stuff, I realized, wow, all this is good stuff. It's good, positive stuff. It's good learning experiences. And yet, what's so crazy? Why do we have to fight something and battle something and struggle with it so we can finally take a look at it and see the beauty in it? I realize today that so many beautiful things have happened to me as I go through the journey of the priesthood, even though I had to discover my addictions in the priesthood. And yet I'm glad I did. You know why? Because my addictions gave me the gift of recovery. There's a positive side to everything. Is that amazing? But the crazy part about it is, why do you have to get older? I should say old, so you finally begin to understand. I mean, Charlie knows what I mean. You finally begin to understand what things are really like and get connected, right, Ray? It takes a while to get there, but it's all part of it. What can they tell you? Joe knows what I mean. But the bottom line is, we got to go through sickness, things that we go through in life. Some of the things we have to really struggle hard with. We have to work through different things in life. All kinds of gratitude and things that really fantastic to help us on the journey. But I'm learning over and over again that all these things are part of the experiences, part of the things we go through. It's part of our journey, and help me to begin to understand who I am and get to know myself as a person. And then also to begin to define my purpose. I never knew I had a purpose. And yet the higher power is always teaching us, sending messengers, sending situations in our life. We never know how long we're going to be on this earth. Even losses and things we go through. You know, I look at my own family. I had 15 beautiful cousins, and now there's only 2 of us left. I lost my first one when he was very young, in his early 40s, from drugs and alcohol. I've learned all kinds of things in heaven. Life has got these ups, these downs, these struggles, these losses, these connections. But the bottom line is to have the courage and the fortitude to go back and look at all this and to learn from it, to grow from it, to experience new things from it, and get excited about it. That's what it's really all about. That's the most important piece. I don't care how old you are, it doesn't make a difference. If you're only in your 20s, wonderful. You're on the journey. Enjoy the journey. That's what it's really all about. I was 20 at one time. When I was 20, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but that's okay. Now I do. But it's a big part about life, the journey of life. Even some of my great teachers and people that came into my life, people that taught me so much about life, so grateful today. Were they tough? Yeah. I didn't get into recovery because I was walking down the street looking for recovery. I got into it because I was pushed into it and finally had to face things and deal with things. I'm grateful today, but gratitude didn't come easy. It came with hard work. As we're taught over and over again, there's got to be that balance in life of negative and positive. Our positive, our growth comes from the negative. We learn from the experience, from the things we go through in the course of our journey. I never truly understood this, even having a nervous breakdown. You know, the parish I was connected to, I finally left there and I was going to go save the world. I entered into an inner city parish, an all African American parish. And I was going there because it was a poor parish and I was going to be the savior. They saved me. I didn't save them. And the bottom line was I learned. And I worked for years, became a prison chaplain. But that was a great thing to do, though, being a prison chaplain. I got to meet some pretty interesting people. I got to learn about the other side of life. I also learned how to open doors without keys. It's fantastic. I learned a lot of crazy things. You know, I learned how to play cards. I learned how to do all kinds of stuff. You know, it's interesting how the journey of life is. I can look at things with positive eyes today and realize all these experiences, all these things you go through are part of the journey. I'm grateful to the therapist I met. I was introduced to him. And I look at his picture all the time and I realize he took me on a wonderful journey. He used to say to me all the time, don't be afraid of your history. It is your greatest and most powerful teacher. Embrace it, learn from it, grow from it. It is the things in life that make you stronger. They give you strength. They make you into a stronger person. And they give you the chance to be able to experience with others. And God has a powerful way of trying to teach us. But, you know, many of us are a little stu-eyed. What can I tell you? Many of us have to go through it the hard way. You know, I often said before, when I get up there, I'm going to tell God, you made a big mistake when you created us. See this thing up here? Should have an off and on switch. So I shut the damn thing off and break it. Stop thinking. I'm always trying to figure out life. Live life. Don't figure it out. We have to celebrate it. We have to enjoy it. You know, I always tell you the story of my favorite cartoon, Iggy. Iggy used to look for the secret of life all over the place. And the great guru told him finally, hey, Iggy, just go live, will you? Live your life. Celebrate it. Find out from it. Instead of trying to keep looking for the magic formula or the magic product or the magic person or the magic individual. There are no magic products or things. It's just life. Life is the magic. You got to be open to it, to learn from it. It's what's so powerful about this journey. I realized today the nervous breakdown I had in the hospital was the gift that gave me the gift of spirituality. even though I didn't embrace it then. But that doctor planted seeds in my head. I wish I could remember his name, but I still thank him every day. I never understood a lot of this, even though I was a clergyman, I was a priest. Finally understood the things about life. It began to get planted. Now we find that I got to keep planting the seeds, planting the seeds. Then the seeds start to grow. They grow slowly. It's part of the process we go through in life. But I've learned over and over again as a result of this to be open to new things and open to new directions. You know, it's interesting even being on Zoom with you guys. It's fantastic. I mean, I get to be in your living room. How the hell can you be in 35 living rooms at the same time? It's wonderful. It's fantastic. I love it. And yet, what's so beautiful about it is, I go back to when I was born in 1940, all we had was radio. Then in 48, we got a thing called a TV. I've watched over the years, and it's exciting to see the transition of things over and over and over again, even to Zoom. And I found out tonight that St. Jerome is the patron of Google. It's fantastic, isn't it? How about that, Sue? We got a patron of Google now. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. We're learning more and more things, but see, there's where the laughter comes in. The learning process comes in. That's what it's all about, right, Leslie? It's all part of the process we go through in this journey. You know, we learn how to meet one another, connect with one another. You know, you meet some powerful people. You know, I was in the lecture hall the other day. I was walking around different plaques on the wall. We have over 1,200 names on that wall. And so many memories, so many people, so many experiences, so many beautiful concepts. And every one of them was a teacher. And I realized all these teachable moments, these teachers that come into our life, and we take them for granted. God also helped me with a lot of help from people who have to make decisions in my life. It wasn't easy to make a decision to leave the priesthood. And yet, now I understand. When one door closes, another door opens. So from the priesthood, I went to the next door, which said, you get married. Oh, wow. Okay, we'll try that one out for a while. I like that door, I really do. It's a neat one. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be married. I even say that to my wife now, the other night we were going upstairs to go to bed, and I said, I still don't believe it. Am I really married? He said, yes, you are. I have papers. It's totally amazing. The bottom line is that's a wonderment to me. It's just unbelievable. 3 beautiful stepdaughters, 7 beautiful grandkids, the journey of life, watching my grandkids get married now, watching different things happen, watching the concept of people moving in new directions and things happening. It's so exciting. Yet there was a lot of struggle involved in it. A lot of transition, a lot of change, a lot of process in life. And that's why tonight we want to bring out the fact that don't be afraid to sit down and start writing your history and write your experiences, put them down. We each have our own history. I wrote a whole book about this. That's a great part about it. I got so excited about doing it. I actually wrote a whole book on it. It's like 65, 78 pages. I don't know what it is. A lot of fun doing it. Because I realized today, that's what it's really all about. It's not about how you look on the outside. That's superficial. So I'll tell you a big secret. Please don't tell anybody the secret. We're all going to get old. We're all going to change. We're all going to get wrinkles. And how much wrinkle cream you use, you're still going to get it. And what knows what's going to happen? Things are going to change. You got to change different things in life. So new directions open up. Now I'm having fun being a senior citizen. A lot of benefits too. What not going to tell you? I get in the restaurants cheaper. It's just kind of nice in a way. But the fun part about it is you have to look at things through a different set of eyes. Instead of those eyes of gloom, those eyes of doom, those eyes of woe is me. They're sick eyes. You have to look at things. What did I learn? How can I grow? How can I experience from all this? Even failed relationships, things that have happened in life, people we've lost, doors that have closed in different directions. They're not wasted. They're part of our journey. They're part of our learning process. It's all these beautiful things that happen to us in the course of our journey. Nothing is permanent. Everything's in process. Everything's changing. That's how life is supposed to be. You see that, so many times and so many things in the course of our journey in life. And that's why it's exciting to go into your history, to go into your foundations, to look at the aspect of it. I never thought my wildest dreams, maybe hanging out with a bunch of crazy guys in the morning at the gym, having fun. And this Friday is Sandwich Friday. It's wonderful. One of the guys every Friday has to go out and buy breakfast sandwiches for everybody else at the gym. Fantastic. And we have coffee and sandwich night. We have a lot of fun together. Do a lot of crazy things. But remember what I said. Don't worry about the outside. I'll tell you a story. When I was a priest, I had the privilege and the honor of doing a day of recollection once a year for paraplegics, people that had serious damage to their body. And my very good friend, Dan, I knew him before, I knew him after. He's a paraplegic. He was in a major car accident. And he lives, a beautiful home today. He's actually Dan Gottlieb. He's on the radio. His life has changed dramatically since this happened to him. And it's just amazing to look at it. And that goes for all of us. But I remember doing that thing for paraplegics. One gentleman I met, I'll never forget him. He showed me something. He put himself in front of a mirror, and he wasn't the best looking thing in the world. He was a beautiful person, but the outside was deformed. He would look in the mirror and he'd say, "You're special, you're beautiful, I love you. You are the most beautiful, special human being on the face of this earth." He truly loved who he was. And I loved being around him. You know why? I could feel the energy coming out of him. I could feel the wonderment coming out of him. I could feel the joy coming out of him. Because he came to an acceptance of the outside and concentrated on the inside. And I truly believe that everything will come to you. We're able to go to the inside, to go on a thing of discovery. Discover who you are, the real you, the internal you, the spiritual you, your spirit that makes you who you are. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is special. That's what it's really all about. And thank God. I don't know where it'll be tonight if we're all the same. We were bored out of our mind. It's much more fun to have differences, to get upset, to go through changes, kinds of things, to watch process take place. I get mad on Reddit all the time. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it, but it's a great part about it. That's what life is supposed to be. You get aggravated, you go through changes, and tomorrow you get better. You learn something from it. You learn about yourself. That's why I love the steps, the defects. Just think about it for a couple of minutes. Two very special gentlemen, sick as hell, trying to stay sober, decided to get together and try for one day not to drink. But a few days later, since it worked, they went to the hospital and got a third drunk. Now we had 3 drunks working together. Wow. Then there was 4, then there were 8, then there were 20, then there were 30, now there's 1,000. As the journey went on, it continued. That's how things start. They start with planting that seed, that process that happens. And now we have other types of 12-step programs, and the steps have become a way of life, a spiritual way of life. Things opened up doors, things have changed. It's amazing. There's even a book now put out by Hazelton for the 12 steps for anyone who really wants to use them. It's totally amazing because they're gifts of life, they're principles of life, they're ways to live by. I'll talk more about that next week. But the concept is, these are doors that are opening, things that are happening. It's a process we go through. And so the most important thing we have to understand, because your history is your greatest gift. It's what makes you who you are. Your experiences, your strength, things that come from them. And that beautiful saying, I've said it before, from every experience comes strength, from strength comes hope. And this is how I learned how to love who I am, to celebrate who I am. We keep looking outside, waiting for somebody to come along and love me. Hey, go look in the mirror. Love that person in the mirror. The rest will take care of itself. I guarantee you that. If I learn to love me and celebrate who I am, everything else will fall into place. But it will happen in God's time, not in my time, with patience. Everything happens slowly and gradually, and it begins to work. And that's why I always said some of those beautiful words and try to live your history and your foundations on a positive attitude. If you have a positive attitude, if you're ready, then have an attitude of gratitude. Be grateful for everything in life, even for the struggles and the hurt, even the traumas. Things happen. Gratitude. Have an attitude of humility. Be open to learn, be open to grow. Have an attitude of love. As we learn to love ourselves and celebrate ourselves, we have something beautiful to gift to other people we meet. It comes from the inside out, not from the outside in. If you do that, then you will come to the gift of acceptance. You come to the beautiful gift of accepting who you are and celebrating who you are and celebrating the gift of yourself. And through acceptance comes faith, comes trust, being open to new things and new directions. The miracles will come. I just don't believe half the things in the course of my journey in life today. I never thought I'd be giving lectures until one day I gave one because somebody coerced me into giving one. And I found out, wow, this stuff works. Before tonight, I came here, I didn't really know what I was going to say. I said, I'll say it anyway. And then whatever came out comes out. I've learned to speak from here and not from here. This is a control tower. This is the heart tower, the love tower. It comes from there, it comes real. Be who you are. Celebrate who you are. Have faith and trust that things will happen. They'll happen slowly and gradually in time. You know, from a little seed, remember I talked about the mustard seed, comes this beautiful mosaic. And that's what we're doing. We're developing what I call the mosaic of life. It has some ugly parts to it and some beautiful parts to it. You come to our center at starting point and walk in the front door. There's a beautiful, beautiful quilt on the wall. I love that quilt because each patchwork in that quilt was created by 30 beautiful women. All of them incest survivors and survivors of incest, survivors of abuse. Each one took a patchwork, put their handprint in it, and put their saying in it. And then they put it all together into one. And they learned that we can't do it by ourselves. We need each other. We learn from one another. We grow from one another. Each one of us is our teacher. Congratulations. Each one of us is a gift. Each one of us is on a journey. That's what it's all about. That's the secret to this whole thing. Ricky knows what I'm talking about. It's the process we go through in life. We open up the doors, begin to learn new things, new directions. We begin to do things like we never did before. Go to another direction. You know, we get to ride on a train. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. We get to see the sights. We get to see different parts of the country. We get to see all kinds of stuff. You know, and we have all kinds of wonderful people. There's some people that are a little crazier than others, and that's a good part about it. You know, but the beautiful part about it is even those people, they come into your life to make you laugh, open up the doors inside of yourself. And that's what's important. I used to love so much a gentleman I met in the early starting point days. His name was Ed. He lived across the street from Starting Point. He was in the AA program. I'm convinced he was Santa Claus, convinced of it. He had that big round belly. He actually ran a beer distributing place across the street. And he was in AA for 25 years. You know, he would come over to the house, bring treats to the guys, not beer. He would bring lunch and food and stuff to the guys at the halfway houses. And he would come in and he had them guys in their halfway house rolling on the floor. It was so funny. Here's a man that spent time in prison. Here's a man that struggled. Here's a man that built a business. Here's a man that came from the bottom back up again. And all he could do was laugh. He told them stories. They laughed. They carried on. And they were all street people he was talking to. And he said, don't worry about it. He said, you're going to get there. Just keep coming back, keep working, keep doing what you got to do. I love people like that because their experience brings strength and brings hope, brings beauty in life. So we have to learn, try to look at life through the eyes of gratitude, through the eyes of learning, through the eyes of growth. See, doing a positive inventory is saying, how can I do my history? How can I put it on paper? How can I learn lessons and beautiful things from everything in my life? I continue that journey. Some of us are on the other end of it, and some of us are at the beginning of it, and some of us are in the middle of it. Who knows? I don't know. My granddaughter told me when I turned 75, she said, Papa, you're 3/4 of a century old, you only got 1/4 left. Well, now I'll be 83 in May, and guess what? I got less than 1/4 left, and that's okay too. That's all part of it. Maybe I'll figure out and still have 1/4 left. We'll see what happens. But you never know what's going to happen in the course of the journey. We take it one day at a time. We celebrate. We enjoy life. We celebrate who we are. So my prayer tonight is that we have that attitude of gratitude, attitude of humility, attitude of acceptance, attitude of love, that we open up those doors with faith and trust and realize each one of us is on a very special, beautiful journey. And you know, there's so much to learn and so much to experience. And so take your experiences, take who you are, take every gift inside of yourself. Be open to new things and new directions, no matter what. If you're struggling, you know, stick with the struggle. From the struggle comes something beautiful later on. It's a process, a little bit at a time. Get help, get support, and please, 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 don't try to do it by yourself. We need each other, we need one another, and we need everybody in this room. We're all connected together. We even need Loretta. It's not a problem at all, but we need everybody. It's all part of it. We'll even throw Jerome in for an extra one there, no problem. The bottom line is, remember that. And now I'm so excited because tonight I found out that St. Jerome is in charge of Google, patron of Google. Oh my God, it's amazing, isn't it? Thanks, Jerome. We found out something tonight. Always something new. What can I think? Anyway, let's pray. God, we come before you tonight in prayer. With gratitude, with love, we come here and we say thank you. Thank you for the beautiful gifts you've given us. Thank you for our history. Thank you for our life. Thank you for the journey that we're on. Thank you for the fact that we can do it together with one another. Thank you for giving us the gifts and the gifts of our celebration of life. Teach us to know who we are as a person. Remember, the most beautiful thing you've given us, and I know sometimes we get stubborn, we try to do it our way, we think we have the answers. You know, we have that little hard head inside of us. But the beautiful thing is, the God of our understanding, our higher power, is so patient with us. Higher power even laughs at us once in a while because we're so stubborn. And yet, you know what? After a while, higher power gets through. We receive the message. We do the growing, we do the learning. Everything will happen as we work the journey. Remember, we're family. We all need each other. Thank you so much. I pray to my God every day with gratitude and with love for all the gifts, the people, the situations He has given me on this journey. I'm grateful for the pain, for the struggle. I'm grateful for the different things I need to learn. And teach me that from adversity comes joy. Teach me to learn, to grow, to be open. And thank you for all the wonderful teachers you send into my life, into our lives. Thank you for one another. Thank you for life. Thank you for the gift. Please, please, please help us just to live each moment, to celebrate each moment with you. We pray this every day and we pray in your name. Amen.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.